Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's vlog. I'm just taking you through a day of working at the Getty because I haven't done this in a while. Hi. So today I don't really, well actually let me open up my calendar before I say I don't have anything going on. Oh, just kidding, I do have the event. So today there is, let me see if I can show you. Today there is a lecture from somebody from the University of, or Brown University, and they're talking about digital publications. So oh, and there's gonna be snacks, right? I'm actually going to get ready to head over there because it starts at 10:30 and it's 10:15 right now. Recorded this before, but this is what it looks like after. These were so good. A ton of butter. Okay, so I just got out of that talk and I wanted to unpack some things and also update y'all on where my head has been at these past couple of days. This wasn't a vlog that I was planning on making, but then in the moment I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. So I know I just recently dropped this video where I talk about my 5-year plan, publishing, what I want to be when I grow up, and how that was all pointing towards being an academic. But the thing is, over the past couple of weeks, specifically, or maybe I should say especially because of the student encampment encampments that are popping up all over the US and even internationally, and the ways in which universities are not supporting students that are, literally sicking police onto their academic population, their academic community, the people that they're claiming to be educating, to give support to, right? These students are the lifeblood of any academic institution. They're also turning on their faculty, which are literally the reason that academia exists. You cannot be a university, you cannot be a college without faculty, you cannot be a college or university without students, and they are, without hesitation, transferring them from being academic community members as extensions of the university to criminals, to potential threats, to disposable people. And that has not been sitting with me it started to make me question how invested I am in placing myself into institutions that literally do not share my values, that have educated me to have these values, that have given me the resources to critically explore and understand the world in which we are in, to have my own dedication to civil rights, activism, and human rights, and yet will immediately, if not already, see me as somebody who is invaluable, see my students as people who do not belong, see my teaching as potential threats. And that has been really, it's not that I never thought of it before, but seeing it play out in this way in real time as somebody who is at the point of entering into academia, it just hits different. So I say that to say I am at a crossroads where I saw this pathway to being an academic as like, this is what I'm working towards, this is what I want to be. And now I'm really more interested in thinking like, well, what else is there? How can I engage in the scholarship? How can I engage in the civil, or human rights activism or advocacy that I care about? How do I empower people who are invested in the liberation of all oppressed and colonized people, independent of, or even in some cases despite academia or despite the university or independent of the university? I don't have any of those answers, actually. And I guess I'm sharing this to say that before, when I imagined this channel, and I'll make a complete video about the future of this channel probably in the next couple of months, but before, when I imagined this channel, it was me going to grad school, getting us into an academic position, and talking about tenure, because those were things that I knew nothing about and didn't know how to be successful or how to thrive. And it's not that I plan on necessarily moving away from that completely, but maybe. And so I wanted to have this conversation in the sense that right now I'm really considering, what does the future look like? Not just for me, like, oh, what do I want to be when I grow up? But really as somebody who wants to be consistent in my morals and be consistent in my advocacy and be consistent in my support and solidarity. How do I live my life in that way? How do I align my career, my research, and my just existence with that perspective? I say this to say, I've been having these thoughts again for the past couple of weeks as these encampments and the police brutality and violence has raged, as white supremacist violence has infiltrated into these institutions in the ways that these students and faculty and professors and academics and just people, colonized people, are not being protected by these institutions that are supposed to be invested in them, or at least researching them. But I went to this talk today, which is the point of me. That was a long rambling thing to get to this thing. And it was a reminder. It was about publication and research and scholarship. And it was a reminder to me there are other ways to produce knowledge. There are other ways to administer knowledge. And the goal now is not just to be an academic per se. It's not just to be a scholar per se, but rather to engage in knowledge production, to invest in information accessibility and things to that nature. So these are the thoughts that I'm having right now. It's really rambly. It felt really clear before I started talking, and then I started talking and I was like, oh wait, there's so much on my mind. But I wanted to share that just in case you're having these feelings right now, you're feeling disillusioned, if you're on these encampments and you're feeling not supported and you don't like, that's real and valid, and we should be questioning, we should be challenging, we should be divesting from these universities. And there's a level of self-accountability, but also understanding, like, what is it that you're willing to negotiate, what is it that you're willing to let go and maintain, that I'm still working through. And I wanted to be transparent about that, and I wanted to be honest about that, because there is no future in academia, for me at least, but I feel like for most people, there is no future in academia if it continues to be invested in white supremacists, fascists, anti-black, pro-police, like the structures, while also benefiting off of and exploiting people who are writing against these same things that they're invested in. People who are actively, organizing against these things that they are investing in. Eventually, academia will have to crumble, will have to fall, because these people, these academics, these students are the lifeblood of academia. And what happens when people no longer see these institutions as institutions of knowledge, as institutions of liberation? It falls apart. They stop going, they stop working there, and it no longer consists or continues. So those are my many thoughts, trying to be transparent about what my future will look like or might look like. And again, nothing is set in stone, but let's go look at what there is to eat. Can I be honest? Can I be honest? I've been craving a cheese plate for a really long time. And it's like, should I spend the gajillion dollars it costs to just eat cheese? Okay, so actually, I didn't want to eat anything. The cheese platter looked delicious and I really did want it, but it only came with 3 little things of bread. And there's no price that's going to make that. Like, the bread to cheese ratio is just all the way off. But yes, building on the conversation that I was having outside, in practicality, nothing really about my life is going to change so far. I think really what those thoughts were leading me to was the encouraging me to have an imagination or to consider the possibilities rather than seeing myself as a PhD and must go the academic route and pursuing life that way. It's instead being open to another way of being and seeing the world in a different way. And like I said, academia has a lot of conditioning, has a lot of brainwashing, but it's just indoctrination and making you think that what makes you valuable or what makes you intelligent or what makes you a worthy doctoral person is a cosign from a university. And I definitely had that indoctrination internalized into me. And so that's something that I'm working on disconnecting from. So if I do go into academics because I want to, and not because I feel the social pressure to be this academic. But also, I think it's also going to encourage me to engage with academics a little bit different, where the question isn't, how do I become a professor, but rather, how do I produce this type of scholarship? Or what are the skills you think are valuable? Or if you could do it all over again, would you do this again? You know, these types of questions that are less specific of a roadmap and more expansive to the possibilities. So looking and trying to speak with more independent scholars. And if you know any independent scholars, independent curators that are interesting and I should know about, please leave them in the comments below, because I am interested in seeing what are other pathways that are valuable outside of academia. So yeah, those are my thoughts. The talk, how this is all connected to the talk, it was about digital scholarship, which had conversations about accessibility, about access, about non-academic or non-specialist audiences getting to interact with scholarship like this. And that, again, is a reminder, like, yes, there's a whole digital landscape. Me and you on this YouTube channel live in a whole different digital landscape that gives us an opportunity to develop community, to administer, or to share information in a way that wasn't accessible 20, 30 years ago. And so keeping my heart, my mind, and my eyes open to future possibilities that digital spaces give way, I think will make a really big difference into how I plan out my next, bit of year, how I move through the next part of my academic career. There's another meeting at 3:30. It'll be like a panel discussion. I'm hoping there's more snacks since I decided not to get anything from the lunch, the cafe. I did eat a bunch of scones, which was not included in this video because I try not to record while people are speaking per se. But hopefully there's more snacks there, and I will include that in the vlog and see what else is going on. But yeah, I don't know how this vlog turned. I do. That talk inspired me to think about things differently, and I wanted to share that with you all. But okay, I'm just talking now, and I'm probably like losing a ton of you. So thank you for caring and getting to this point. I'm gonna work on the computer for a little bit, and then I will head to the second part of this talk and update you all then.